You're now watching Q News. I'm Hani Saif, and here are the top stories for this hour. Egypt has strongly condemned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's recent remarks in a U.S. media interview, calling them misleading and a misinterpretation of Egypt's humanitarian efforts in Gaza. In a statement, the Egyptian Foreign Ministry reaffirmed its commitment to aiding Palestinians, highlighting the delivery of over 5,000 relief trucks and ongoing support for the injured. Egypt also criticized Israel's continued violations against civilians and infrastructure, firmly rejecting any suggestions of displacing Palestinians to neighboring countries. Cairo reiterated its unwavering support for a two-state solution, emphasizing that East Jerusalem must remain the capital of a future Palestinian state. Israeli media has reported that Qatar sent messages to both Israel and the US, warning that Israel's actions regarding the second phase of the deal, as well as provocative remarks by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, are jeopardizing the first phase. Israeli media stated that negotiations for the second phase of the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas have not yet begun, with internal Israeli discussions and talks between Hamas and mediators ongoing. Hamas leader Khalil al-Hayya has strongly rejected Western and U.S. initiatives for Gaza, particularly those proposed by former U.S. President Donald Trump, calling them doomed to fail. Speaking from Tehran, al-Hayya emphasized that Palestinians will resist any attempts at displacement or expulsion. He reaffirmed that the people of Gaza will remain on their land and continue to defend themselves against Israeli aggression. His remarks came in response to Trump's recent claims that the U.S. is committed to gaining control over Gaza and rebuilding it with the support of wealthy Middle Eastern nations. Al-Hayya insisted that Hamas has successfully resisted such plans before and will do so again. Lebanon has strongly condemned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's remarks, suggesting the establishment of a Palestinian state on Saudi land. In an official statement, the Lebanese Foreign Ministry firmly rejected the proposal and reaffirmed its support for Saudi Arabia in safeguarding its sovereignty and security. Lebanon also dismissed any attempts to displace Palestinians, particularly to its own territory, and called for a just and comprehensive solution based on a two-state framework. The ministry emphasized that any resolution must align with international law and the 2002 Beirut Arab Summit initiative. U.S. President Donald Trump has stated his commitment to gaining control over Gaza, suggesting that parts of the region could be rebuilt with the support of other Middle Eastern states. He described Gaza as a demolition site, claiming there is nothing left to return to and that the remaining structures would also be torn down. Trump also indicated that he is open to accepting some Palestinian refugees into the United States, but emphasized that each case would be considered individually.
Everything's demolished, and you can't live in those buildings like that.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will meet the Security Cabinet on February 11th to discuss the second phase of the detainee exchange deal. That comes as the negotiating team returned from Doha this morning, and earlier, Israeli media reported that negotiations for the second phase will begin after Netanyahu's return from Washington and the cabinet meeting. Netanyahu believes the only options are war and prolonging the first phase if Hamas remains in Gaza. In Lebanon, the Lebanese army has completed its deployment in the towns of Rabbul Thalathin and Beni Hayyan following the withdrawal of Israeli forces from the area. Lebanese soldiers have been conducting patrols, clearing dirt barriers and rubble from the roads. The army has also begun searching for bombs and unexploded ordnance in residential areas and along roads, urging residents to wait for clearance before returning home. Meanwhile, despite a ceasefire agreement with Hezbollah requiring an Israeli withdrawal, the Israeli military continues to occupy other parts of southern Lebanon. These are all the top stories we have for now. I'm Hani Saif. Thank you for joining us.